Everybody, yeah,
Yeah. Rock
rock
your
your
body.
body. Bachelor's back. All right. Oh man, we had to go through a very I don't want to say bleak. We went through a very tough time. We had COVID. We had to do Tiger King. We had to suffer through Listen to Your Heart. And now, finally, Romancing Our Stones, Alex and Matt can get back to the things that are important to them in their heart. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bachelorette season. And I am Matt,
I'm Alex.
and this is Romancing Your Stones, the male survival guide to pop culture media your girl will drag you to. Finally, back to our bread and butter. How you been, Alex?
Good, good. It's been a long 6 months, and our coronavirus is one. My genes no longer fit, so that's how it's going to have to be.
Yeah, I know, and it just feels good to be back and talk about things that we want to talk about. So,
Yes.
um, essentially, if you're new to this show, what we do is we look at pop culture and media that is chick oriented, that your girlfriend will drag you, that your wife will drag you to. You're a male, you have no idea what's going on. You don't want to be there, but we're going to make it better for you because we're going to make fun of every mother effer on the entire show. We're going to make fun of situations. We're going to make fun of people. If you're looking for a PC show, we'll try and keep it as PC as possible. But at the same time,
We're here to have fun.
yeah, and we a disclaimer: everyone's a person, and we recognize that this is just a character on TV. We're making fun of the character. We're making fun of the way
This is making fun of the production.
and making fun of the way you portray yourself, which is carefully edited to make you look like a loser.
And they can kind of choose which character they're going to be. It really is a choose your own adventure by the time the season's over. So
It truly is, and but we're glad to be back. Another disclaimer: we haven't seen anything, we haven't read anything,
and we don't choose to.
and we don't choose to as we bring the show to you. And so this is called the Guys Guess All, because we're just going to look at how stupid Blake Monar's hair is and say how stupid Blake Monar looks, and we don't think that he's going to go very far. We're going to do things like that. We're going to talk about how Bennett likes to show his chest hair. We're going to talk about things we don't even know about them as people, but we've read their bios, which is the way they want to portray themselves online. And we are going to speak to that. So, but first off, before we get started, Alex, what you drinking?
Tonight, I am drinking the Ecliptic Brewing Phaser Hazy IPA. This brewery is out of Oregon, I believe. Portland, yep. ABV 6.5. So I'm starting the night off a little early here with a pretty decent one here.
If you're familiar with the show, you know anything over 4.2 gets Alex a little loopy by the end of the show. So
yes,
he starts saying things that get a little crazy.
I drink it really fast, and then the timer starts. And that's why we try to wrap up these episodes in 30 minutes.
And he'll be in bed with a blanket and a bottle. Be perfect. What are
you drinking?
Since you asked, Alex, I'm drinking a Centennial IPA from Founders. They're out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's 7.2% alcohol, 65 bitterness units. And if you're listening to the show, if you're watching the show, you can see that I'm finding my kids right now. They're in here wanting to see what's happening. But it's good. It's a nice IPA, and we're gonna say cheers.
Cheers. Clink noise. We'll put that in post.
Yeah, we got a sound effects guy now. No, we don't. It's us.
It's us.
So we are. I am very distracted. Can you hear his iPad?
Well, yeah, not too bad. He's fine. I would say, really, the question, Matt, I think was what you're really kind of getting to is where do we begin?
We gotta start with Claire.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna mute myself for a hot second. So hold on.
No,
so you carry the show, Alex.
You're good. Well, I mean, we haven't really talked about this, but for me, Claire has a special part in my heart, and not for the right reasons. I don't think the emotional maturity is there. I wasn't the least bit excited when they announced that she would be the Bachelorette.
It's like they try and do something, like, you know how they have, like Bachelor, the first Bachelorette of color, the first Bachelor of color. With Claire, they're kind of talking about like they're defeating ageism. Do you think, like, like
uh,
because she's 39 doesn't mean you can't still be hot and find love?
maybe.
But
Uh,
she's a terrible choice. Like, how you have 8 choices, you have 8 chances: Bachelor, Winter Games,
well,
Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelor. Like, you have so many different choices. Like, we're done with you.
and I think that's kind of where I'm coming from when I say like, I don't care for her, is because it's like she's a perennial Bachelor Nation attendee on these shows, and I never found a opportunity to see her as a redeeming character.
No.
She's always slightly annoying. She's overly opinionated in some things, and I feel like she gets into other people's business where she didn't belong. Like, I don't know. She's probably a great person. She's not somebody that I feel like I could grab a beer with across the bar and have a good time with. Like, that's how I judge people these days, right?
So we're starting a couple. We're going to become a couple soon.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, she said, like, where's the man who's going to fight with me? And that's what they said. They're going to say it tonight on tonight's show. We're taping this a half hour before the show. It says, when she left Juan Pablo that fateful day in St. Lucia, she asked tearfully, where is a man who will fight for me? Are you trying to date Tito Ortiz? What is your plan? Like, what do you mean you want someone's going to fight for you? It's, like, oh gosh, we got a lot to talk about. I'm not super stoked on her, and I already feel bad for all these guys that are in the room. But
I mean, especially, I don't know if you saw, but I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Are you to show me how
11? Yeah, I can count to 11. So that's
very good.
Our viewers and listeners can hear it. I'm very smart.
Yes.
But 11, that's a third of the contestants are below age 30. I didn't include the 30-year-olds. I included 29 to 26, which is the youngest. And I'm thinking, what?
So that would mean so let's just take, who's the youngest? It's 26-year-old.
Yes, that is Tyler C is 27, but who's our 26?
Chris is 27 too.
Jordan C is 26.
So Jordan C
and Damar is 26.
Is 13 years difference, and I would never declare that love is a factor of age, and you can't find your. Oh, and I hate this saying. You find your person. If you're new to the show, I'm divorced. That's why I'm really jaded about this shit. Anyway. But 13 years, that means when Claire was graduating high school, then you go back 13 years, and we're talking pre-K. Pre-K.
Yep.
That is my oldest son marrying a senior in high school right now.
Yeah.
And that is the difference between a fax machine and AOL Instant Messenger. That is the difference between a Sidekick flip phone and an iPhone.
I was going to say Wi-Fi and dial-up.
Some of you people don't even know what that is, but it is a real thing. So I don't know what they're going to talk about. Pokemon probably crosses over those thresholds.
It's the only thing that stands the test of time. Like, screw love. It's Pokemon just withstands generations.
Oh, just the beautiful singing of Jigglypuff and the electricity of Pikachu. I digress. So I don't know. I already know that there's going to be problems. It's very hard to avoid hearing things, even though you're not actively seeking it. It sounds like Claire blows this whole thing up, which is a total Claire move.
Yep.
And it sounds, and I'm just going to say what I've heard, Tayshia comes in and replaces her.
Okay. I like Tayshia.
Yeah.
If that happens, I'm actually happy about. Like, I'm going to be a lot more motivated to sit down on the couch to spend an hour to watch the show.
Tayshia was rad. I mean, she jumped out of a plane. I mean, she jumped off. She jumped off a lot of things with Colton. And she was super. She jumped off that like really tall thing in Thailand, and of course Colt was a little bitch about it. Um, but I mean, it'll be interesting if she comes in. If that plays out the way that it should, then that should have been the Bachelorette to begin with, in my opinion. But
Yep.
it's not to say we don't care about Claire. So
Meh. Meh.
meh. So Alex, just based on picture alone, who do you give the biggest douche to and why? Well, you can add their bios into it as well.
Do we get bonus points if it's the same one? Just these points go nowhere, but you and I get bonus points if we end up picking the same person?
It's like whose line is it anyway? We both get major points, and the points don't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
How's that sound?
Exactly. I'm okay with that. I just want points for no reason.
Okay.
So I'm looking. It's got to be a close tie between Blake Monar, just because of his hair, and then looking that he's a male grooming specialist, which I think is like the most ironic photo to crop with a male grooming specialist.
Yeah.
I would describe this guy, and he could be the nicest, kindest tart on the planet, but he looks like the physical embodiment of a cowlick. Like if you are like define cowlick, you just show his face.
He looks like Jimmy Neutron got mixed up with drugs and has been clean for a year just by his picture. That's what
It's James Neutron now.
It's James Neutron. Yes. Boy, hair genius. Yeah, and like one of his things he puts on his resume on the website is that he loves talking to his mom. And he was a baseball player, which kind of stereotypes him kind of with a neuromuscular disease. And when I heard that, I got really disappointed. Like, I can't make fun of him because he had neuromuscular disease. Yeah. But I did look into his Instagram account.
Tell me it's arthritis. Tell me it's something like
it's a pinky toe cramp. He kicked the door frame once. I was
like, you've got to be kidding me.
No, he's like an Instagram model on top of owning a cosmetic store. So my douche bell is ringing with him. I think that Brandon, age 28, I'll let you scroll over to him.
Yeah, I'm hunting him down right now.
He looks like a big douche to me. He's a 28-year-old that dresses up to look like a 38-year-old, but he looks like a 38-year-old that's trying to look.
Brandon, the real estate agent, right, in Cleveland, Ohio.
Correct, that's him.
Yeah.
He's
the. Oh, I just happen to be an ex-model, by the way. I'm like, what convenient timing! You're on the Bachelorette right now. Like,
yeah, and I think that he looks like a 28-year-old trying to look like a 38-year-old who's trying to look younger at 30. So he's kind of all messed up with his look. But in his description, he says he's never had trouble with girls. He has A-list abs, and he wants no Debbie Downers, and he wants his girls to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me also add this, which makes me not like him any bit anymore. He's the first to admit that he wore way too much Ed Hardy back in the day. Oh. So we want to talk about douche bells. He was literally that guy that had the Ed Hardy pants, probably with the Ed Hardy shirt. Probably had, I don't know. I can't even right now with this guy. Yeah, he's close. The other one that really, so I said for me it was kind of a tie. It was that
I have a confession, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I wore Ed Hardy at one point in time.
But did you wear it too much?
I wore it once, and that was too much.
Well, in our world, yes. But I will bring that up when you get remarried one day, and I will totally do a speech to that. But we'll cover that later.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so who's the tie? Who's the other douche nozzle in this list?
Kenny, the boy band manager from Chicago.
Ooh, yeah. No. He's a boy band cover band manager.
All I have to say,
and the dude hates cheese.
His picture, he looks like he's still stuck in the 90s and belongs in a boy band himself.
Oh yeah.
I'll start with that. Yeah. Also, how do you not decide that he's a sociopath if he hates cheese? Like, sorry, cheese is amazing.
I don't want to know him.
Contrary to our boy Blake, who had
Yeah,
absolutely nothing controversial, by the way.
Blake.
He loves pancakes, and he talks to his mom and takes her shopping. Like, those are his factoids. Nobody can argue or disagree with anything he does. Like, whoever hates pancakes shouldn't be like watching the show, first of all. But like, pancakes are amazing. Who can disagree with that? Like,
It's not how he describes himself; it's how he portrays himself, and he literally must be 5'4" with how tall his hair is. I mean,
wait, is that with the hair or without the hair?
without the hair. I mean, he's 6'2" with the hair, but he's 5'4" without it.
He looks like he belongs in the musical Hairspray.
Well done. Okay.
Who do you like?
I don't want to go. I don't want to go there yet.
Okay. All right. We're still grilling these guys. Let's go.
Yes. Who do you give the "Mom Still Dresses Him" award to?
Based solely off of the picture.
That's all we know. I'll give you mine. Mine is Robbie, the insurance broker.
I was just gonna say Robbie. He interrupted me to say Robbie. I'm looking at the Hawaiian shirt with the appropriate undershirt underneath it.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? No. Because the Hawaiian shirt thing, or like the Tommy Bahama thing, is like kind of like an in thing right now. Like the patterned floral shirt. That's like the short sleeve polo. Like, that's in. What's not in is what Tyler S is wearing. Same concept. You have an undershirt, but then you have a very like Kirkland brand cross check. Navy blue on like powder blue tone on tone, like checkered shirt. Very much. I think Tyler S probably has his mom dress him.
Or at least FaceTimes her before he leaves the house.
Yeah. I'm looking at his, and he looks very much like mom might have dressed him beforehand.
So another award that I want to give out is the contestant that looks most like Lou Ferrigno, and that goes to Ed.
Ed? Yes. The second you said that, I'm like, oh my God, he's totally going down Ed's pathway. I love it.
And he loves all-inclusive resorts, so he'll Hulk out at the buffet.
Yes.
If you don't know who Lou Ferrigno is. There's a lot of there was someone else that I hated too. Who was it?
I'll tell you one thing. The one character I'm not so sure. I think he might be a first. Here, I'll ask you this: who do you think is going to be a first night elimination? Like a
Canadian Shania Twain lover, Mike.
I thought Blake was Canadian. Who else is? Who's the other Canadian?
Mike is the digital media advisor from Calgary, Alberta.
Oh yes. Okay. Yep. Yeah. He's got an interesting look about him too. Have you watched The Boys on Amazon? This episode brought to you by Amazon, by the way.
Prime Day. No, I have not seen The Boys.
So one of the main characters in that is actually the son of Meg Ryan and
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid. He looks like a Canadian version of Jack Quaid. Is that fair to say?
What, Jack Quaid with better manners or what?
No, Mike. Mike looks like a better version of Jack, or like not a better version, a Canadian version of Jack Quaid.
So I think I believe it. So I'm going to say that here's my first night eliminations, and I'll give you my reasons why. It'll be Tyler S. It will be Yosef. It'll be Zach C, Zach J, and Riley. Those are my first night removals. And I say that because their bios do not work on the internet.
Yes, thank you. I was coming across some, and I was like, they have nothing really to say about these Jamokes.
A picture of all the people from Lost come on the screens, and apparently ABC lost their bios. So I think that I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. A lot of ex-NFL players on here.
Yeah, a lot of Instagram / current regular mainstream models I'm seeing as well. Yeah.
And okay. So I do not like Joe either. Joe, the anesthesiologist, because he calls himself a survivor.
Oh no, wait. Am I thinking of Chris or Joe? Who am I thinking of? No, Joe. Yeah, Joe's the anesthesiologist.
Correct.
I wasn't against him, but
he sounds like a douche.
Well, One thing, I feel like he's like one of those, like, he's very smart and he makes a lot of money as an anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
I think he will leverage that in whenever he throws dish on any of these other guys that try and throw shade his way.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I make more than you do in 15 minutes.
I'll put you to sleep, bitch.
I got a kit in my car. I can literally put you to sleep.
Just stand still. I'm going to get between your vertebrae. But he looks like his beard is like a 16-year-old's attempt of growing a beard.
Well, he looks Asian American. Beards sometimes can be tough to grow.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
All I'm saying is I'm not. The jury's not out for me on Joe. I'm still a fan of Joe. I like Joe.
That's fine.
He'll have to prove me wrong. He'll have to prove me wrong, and then you can say I told you so.
Okay, I will look forward to that time. But until that time, we need to vote on who looks like the biggest puss. Because I have my answer.
I'm leaning towards AJ or Brendan, not Brandon. Brendan.
Hey, Daddy.
Maybe Jay. I don't know.
Jay's my choice.
Jay was your choice.
Yeah.
So those are my three. Those are my three.
So I wrote for Brendan. Sorry, my son's name is Jay, so he reacted to that too. Brendan looks like the situation post rehab. You grow your hair out. You're not as GTL as you should be.
Yep.
Hey.
I'll say this really fast. I want to address Blake Moynes, the other Canadian that we have on the show. You look at what his bio says, and there's just so many red flags. I think he's going to be the drama guy in the group. Well, here's why.
Okay, I want to hear this.
Basically, what his bio says is he's looking for a wife basically out of peer pressure because all of his other friends got married. So red flag number one.
I literally wrote that in my notes.
I see the phrase, "Where's his heart on his sleeve?" Red flag number two. That's an excuse to say I go off the rails and I get really emotional about things.
I get a tad emotional. What can I say?
When a guy throws a chair in a bar, he describes himself as wearing his heart on his sleeve. But he's that guy. And then he loves Ninja Turtles. So he's still a child.
Can't fault him for that.
I'm not saying you can like Ninja Turtles, right? I have some really fond Ninja Turtle memories as growing up as a kid.
I do too.
I wouldn't make that a bullet point on my bio.
A bigger red flag for me that you haven't brought up yet is that he said he loves picnics. Picnics are fucking boring. There's nothing good about a picnic. I mean, you could have a good view, and that's the extent of it. But why would you love that? You either love hiking or you love lakes. You don't love picnics. There's a healthy medium here. That was my big red flag for him. And then all the pressure to settle down.
Yeah.
He's experiencing.
It's very wrong. And this is for any of our female listeners, right? Or our lady listeners, right? You know what? Even for guys too. Yeah. If you're dating somebody and you ever get the vibe that they're doing this because they feel like they need to because every one of their network is done there, just don't. Thanks, no thanks. You don't need that. Yeah. Meet somebody that's just enjoys being with you and doesn't feel like there's some clock that they have to try and fulfill, right? Just run from that one. I will say, Bennett, my boy Bennett, 36, wealth management consultant at New York City. He is your stereotypical financial hardo.
I'm not even seeing Bennett on the list.
He's number 3 on that on the website.
Oh, you like him?
No. I'm saying he's your stereotypical East Coast financial hardo that wears loafers, thinks and he described. He said, what did he say? He says in his little bio, he wasn't always this good looking and wealthy. And I'm just like, wow, humble brag much?
This guy, I just wrote down vain.
Yeah, I just he sends all kinds of red flags too. Let's see.
His high school girlfriend is the only girl he's ever had to work for.
Yeah. How much can you brag about yourself in a show where you're actually going to be pursuing somebody. One thing I do want to address, and this is again where I'm like kind of on my douche radar, was that Kenny guy.
Kenny.
You read it, the boy band manager.
Okay.
You read his bio. Where is it? Here, let me look at this again. So,
if you hate cheese, you're not Gouda. That's what I say.
well, so here's what worries me. For Kenny, looks and personality are equal in priority. Okay, that's a toss-away statement. And he's hoping for a girl with both. Okay, he wants a woman who's not controlling, fake, or wrongly opinionated. What does wrongly opinionated mean? I feel like that's a highly subjective statement.
He sounds like a feminist to me.
Your opinion is wrong, Matt. I don't want to date you.
But I just want to say that his bio also says that Kenny is often misjudged by what people see, but inside he's sensitive and caring.
It's everybody else but me, right, Matt? I'm not the problem. I'm not the problem. Everybody else is the problem.
Do they write these themselves, or what's the deal with that? I don't know. There's someone that I really want to talk about.
Okay, let's go.
It's Chris, the landscape design salesman from Salt Lake City, Utah,
who describes himself as a genius because all of his siblings are geniuses.
But I already found a contradiction. He said he's not a genius. He said he wants to travel to 200 countries. There's only 196 countries in the world. Where are you going, man? Where are you going?
So I wasn't going there. I was like losing my shit just because you brought that up. What I was like losing it over was the fact that he says he wanted to travel to, what did you say, 196?
200. He wants to do it 200 where there's only 196 countries in the world.
No, I'm keeping this accurate for our viewers.
Felt so nice you won it twice. Oh, by the way, welcome to the show. India, Sweden, Mexico, Canada, Ethiopia, Ukraine, UK. Thank you for listening, our international listeners.
We have some love, and you know what? We're going to hit 200 countries in no time, Matt. We're going to hit 200 in no time.
And can I just be frank? If you're from a foreign country and you're watching The Bachelorette, what the fuck is going on in your life?
No. This is almost as good as the election season for these people. They're like, this country is so messed up. One of the ways we can also entertain ourselves is by watching The Bachelorette. Let's do this. So thank you for those that like to get a good laugh, just like you and I do.
Truly is a microcosm, I guess.
But what I was going to say about Chris was he mentions the countries. Well, at the same time says, but he wants 3 to 4 kids. And I'm doing the math with how old Claire is, with how old E is. And I'm going, if you want 3 to 4, you're going to have to say goodbye to some of those countries. If you want 1, 2, you could probably make it happen depending on how successful your career is. And, but if you want to do 200 and find 4 that don't exist, that's going to be a full-time. That's a tough slug. I'll say that much.
Once you get one of these, say hi, Jay.
Hi.
Yeah, it gets a lot harder to do anything, let alone go to the bathroom by yourself. But you go to as many countries as you want, Chris.
And that's the point I was trying to make. I'm like, wait, he just said he wants to go to 200 countries before he dies. Yet he also wants 3 to 4 kids. When are those two going to actually agree with each other? When are those stars going to align? Is my question. That answer is never.
I smell a sitcom.
Yep.
I don't know. The genius that doesn't know how many countries there are in the world. I was in an Uber once, and this guy told me how he just launched his app in 242 countries, and I'm sitting back there because I go when I'm bored and I have free time. I go to which I don't have much, but I like to go to Sporkle.com and play the geography game, like countries of the world. So I know there's less than 200 countries in the world. And when the guy on the Uber is like, "Oh, we're in 242 countries," I'm like, "All right, I'm not going to your app, sir. Not doing it." But anyway, let's pick our favorite.
Yes. Well, wait. Does our favorite mean like kind of like our golden boy type of theory, or just like a guy that we really like?
Guy that we like. If you watch TV, like just even today, I was watching a preview of the season. They're making Dale out to be, the second coming of, of Juan Pablo. but she wants someone that wants him but doesn't need him. Okay.
Again, this is my issue with Claire, and like I was kind of getting into at the very beginning of this podcast was like, I just feel like she's got the emotional maturity of an 18-year-old.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree with that. I think that I like Jason because
Okay.
he's the former pro football lineman. He lost 120 pounds, so he has the affable fat man mentality.
Like sense of humor and like, yeah, can talk to people.
And he's probably not vain like a lot of the models are that have been good looking their entire life. He's had to work for it. Granted, he played in the NFL.
Hey, there's a lot of very smart linemen in the NFL.
Yeah.
So he could be very smart. He's in shape. Obviously, he lost all that weight. He knows what it's like to work hard. I'm okay with that. I like that kind of your kind of faith.
Yeah, I like that about him. I think that Jordan C has a sob story, so I think he'll go far. His dad died young, and he made him the man of the house. He apparently hates sharks but loves Jim Carrey. I think that he'll go far. Strictly looking off a profile, DeMar kind of confused me because he wants someone to go on to Starbucks dates with his mom.
Yeah, I kind of wrinkled an eyebrow reading that section too. Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. Let me see. Literally for Jordan M, all I have in my notes is he's 6'8", loves Obama and cleaning. So I don't think he's going to go very far.
Here's what I like about DeMar is that he apparently is super into his spin cycling, right? And he wants to be a DJ. I think it's like
that's because you were a DJ at one point in time, and you do.
And I do spin. So
you have a Peloton.
DeMar and I are simpatico. Okay, so
okay.
I'm again for me, jury's still out. Got to see if I'll be proven wrong, but I'm okay with DeMar. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I get.
All right.
Seems like you got to have a personality if you're going to lead spin classes. I'll say that much. You got to have a personality. So
well, I don't work out, so I would not know.
I want to say who my favorite is.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
My favorite right now is Ben, the 29-year-old Army Ranger veteran from Venice, California. 29 is not too old. Like I feel like he just will kind of cross that barrier where Claire won't be like, he's just so young, right? Like there kind of comes that weird hypocritical phase of the show where like they start bringing up age with some guys that they just don't, or girls that they just don't like. Yet they're really into a girl or guy who's like 1 year older than that, right? And you're like, okay, that doesn't fly. Sorry, it just doesn't, right? Yeah. I feel like Ben crosses that from an age range. He's not the youngest. He's kind of probably right in that middle of that 30 pack, right?
Yeah.
And Army Ranger veteran, he's a hero, right? It sounds like he had maybe a situation with an IED or something where he had his back injury.
He had ED? How do you know this? He has ED? How do you know that insider?
No. It's an IED. Like maybe maybe he got hit by a bomb, something, right? So it just says he suffered a life-changing back injury that shifted his priorities in life and ultimately led to his decision not to return to active duty. So my guess is something happened during active duty.
So you see yourself in Jordan M. I see myself in Ben because I had a back injury that made me change my life trajectory. I've also pointed to the West, so West Point makes a ton of sense to me. The only thing that we differ is that he said he wants someone to keep up with him on the dance floor, and I have 3 moves, and I exhaust them, and I am done. So 2 for 3 is not bad.
You also have to think he likes a little bit of danger in his life because he lives in Venice Beach.
He doesn't mind trash.
Venice is where art meets crime. For those that are listening that have never been to Venice,
he doesn't mind.
Art meets crime.
He does not mind trash. We'll tell you that much.
But I think he's got all the right tools in the tool bag to go far. And again, we'll see how it happens. But he's a Midwestern kid too, so he's a Midwestern kid that's now living in LA. So I think he's got some chops to go deep.
Well, I wish I was a carpenter. You know, I know why. I'd have a better understanding what to do with all these tools.
I thought that was pretty good.
Thank you.
That's a good one-liner.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. I think that kind of covers it. I mean, there's so many things you could say about a lot of people, like Tyler C wants to be the next Tyler C. You have AJ, who is a Muslim, but he likes to treat women well. That's what it says in his bio. You have Jay that looks like a puss. You have Paige, who's a single dad who hates football. Okay.
One thing I found interesting is a lot of these guys are playing the Peter card, and they're like, I love my mom. My mom's the best. And I feel like that must have really marked high with viewers or something, because a lot of these guys have some very strong connections to their mothers. Not that you and I don't have connections to our mothers. I don't know. I just feel like it's like we're marketing that. Like, I would market myself. I have very strong family ties. Got a great relationship with my sister. Got a great relationship with my mom and dad. They're great people. I like to think they built me the way that I am, and I love them. Like, but I just see a lot of people focusing on mom, if that makes sense. You know, not like, hey, I've got a great relationship with my dad, or like my sister and I have a really great bond. Like, it's always like mom.
Blake takes his mom shopping. So,
yep.
I mean, there's a lot.
And likes talking to her.
AJ was raised by his mom. You have Brendan, who is a family man, loves his mom. You have a lot of people. You're right. A lot of people do mention their moms, and you know, it's kind of
it marked high amongst viewers, is what my theory is here, and so they got to say something about the mamas. So,
hey, mama, it's me.
Ooh, all right. I have an idea.
What?
Let's make a score for this series.
Oh.
If you're going to rate this score 1 or 2 stones, what do you think it would be? What do you expect? What are your series expectations? We'll do a stones rating for this episode.
So here's how I'm going to do this. Since you just made up a rule, I'm making up rules too. Okay. Content delivered in its raw form, I will give 0 stones. Okay. So contact, if there was no, so let me be clear. Stones rating post-production and post-editing and post-making these people look certain ways, 2 stones.
Okay. All right.
So I think these guys are nothing burgers, and I think that they're going to do a masterful job, as they always do, to make it interesting. But I think it's a bad Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be interesting with the COVID, you know, what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I do think that it's going to be masterfully edited.
Yes. So. I agree. I think it's going to be. Yeah, I didn't think about the way you were thinking about it, which is like just a sheer raw content perspective. Probably a bunch of a lot of these guys, I don't know if you noticed, are like, especially with COVID, I'm sure a lot of these guys are doing their work at the mansion, and then the production crew comes in and goes, all right, throw on your board shorts and get out in the pool. We need you for these next couple hours. Okay. A lot of these are IT guys. They're probably making calls. They're probably they bought their laptops. They're making sales calls and all that kind of garbage.
Especially Bennett, the wealth management consultant.
Oh, I'm sure he's probably just like, oh, more money? Okay.
All right. I'm Jordan Belfort Jr. I'm the coyote of Wall Street.
I'm dirtier and I'm mangy. But so I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be very much like because I cannot help but think these guys aren't all getting fired unless they can work from home or work from the set, right? Yeah. Because of the environment. We don't need to be putting you on hold for anything. Sorry. So I'm assuming these guys are working during the day and they're taking hours off to do their scenes and but to your point, 2 stones. Production will crush it again, especially with the train wreck that is going to be Claire. And who knows, however long the season might actually be, apparently, because, again, you can't go too far without hearing some kind of rumors about how, like you said, with Tasha and all that, you know, picking up where maybe Claire leaves off kind of thing. So
We shall see, but we've reached a pivotal time where we need to end talking about it and actually go and dive in
And
and
watch it.
watch. Woo!
Let's do it.
So don't forget to follow us on Twitter at RO Stones Guys, on YouTube at RO Stones Guys, on Instagram at RO Stones Guys. If you're catching a trend here, anything that has to do with us is at RO Stones Guys. Follow, like, subscribe, share. We do recaps after the shows, and this is, again, our bread and butter, so we're really excited. And we're really excited the contestants are male, which means that we can be a little more flippant.
Oh, we can rip on them. Yeah, this is going to be fun.
It's kind of hard on the Bachelor one when you're like, well, she had good intentions and she has a good heart, when you're kind of like, what a fucking dummy.
Exactly. No, this is going to be a fun time. So let's get to it. Let's watch this episode, and then we'll be back. We'll be doing this one more time tonight.
This has been the Guys Know Nothing and the Guys Guess All. So we'll talk to you soon. See ya.